You're watching Machindo's hometown station, HTV1.
Hello everybody, Brett Boyd from the Market House. Don't miss our new expanded summer hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and don't miss two fantastic deals on ground chuck at just $3.99 a pound or Dutch Farms butter at just $2.99. Just two great deals and two more reasons to come see us at the Market House. Open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We'll see you there.
Tired of having everyone know you're coming before you arrive because of your exhaust? If so, then it's time to call the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. RS Custom Exhaust has all the tools and parts to make your vehicle quiet again. And for you sports car enthusiasts, if you're looking for the roar to be the king of the roads, RS Custom Exhaust can help you too. With free estimates and first-class service, RS Custom Exhaust has your vehicle covered. So stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
From Machindo's news leader, this is HTV1 News at noon.
Well, there are some notable increases to report in the coronavirus numbers today, but no sign of a spike to speak of as recovery continues. Well, good afternoon, Machindo. I'm Scott Pienta. Well, let's take a look at the latest figures. Branch County holds steady over the last 24 hours with 124 confirmed cases and 2 deaths. Hillsdale County adds 1 case, up 171 cases and 24 deaths. Lenawee County says that there was a lab reporting error that caused a difference between their local count and the state count. Now, the state shows 175 total cases, but the Lenawee County Health Department counts 154 confirmed cases and 34 probable cases for a total of 188 cases. Now, that would make Lenawee the highest case count in the Machindo area. There are 118 confirmed case recoveries in Lenawee County and 4 deaths, along with 33 probable case recoveries and no deaths in that category. Steuben County reports 2 new cases, bringing their total up to 87 and 2 deaths. Williams County shows 40 confirmed cases, 16 probable cases, and 1 death. And over in Fulton County, well, they have 44 confirmed cases, 1 probable case, and still no deaths. Well, on Tuesday, we told you about a mobile coronavirus testing clinic coming to Coldwater, but the plans have changed. The clinic was originally scheduled for tomorrow outside the Coldwater office of the Branch Hillsdale St. Joseph Community Health Agency, but a planned protest against police violence has since been scheduled to take place around the same time in downtown Coldwater. And the agency, along with Recovering Bridge Healthcare, has decided to postpone the clinic until next Friday, June 12th. The joint press release says that the change is being made out of an abundance of caution, as some protests in cities across the country have seen some participants intent on violence and looting. Infiltrate otherwise peaceful demonstrations or have bad intentions have waited until protests were out of the area to take advantage of that situation. Now, some situations have also led to additional police violence against innocent protesters. All of the demonstrations in the Machindo area have been peaceful so far, and we'll have more on the planned protest in the Coldwater in a few moments. But as for the clinic, the June 12th event will still take place outside the health agency's office on Marshall Road from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Those on the front lines against the fight against the COVID-19 will be high priority for testing. Those who have had contact or symptoms, are preparing for medical procedures, or are asymptomatic and are at high risk will be at the standard priority level. Everyone else is welcome to the clinic, but outside of those categories, they'll be at a lower priority for testing. For more information, you can go to the health agency's website at bhsj.org. Well, Michigan has moved to phase 4 of the MySafe Star plan with the stay-at-home order lifted and more businesses opening in the coming days. Now, one of those businesses now free to open is the Capri Drive-In, now which has been reopened each of the past 3 weekends in defiance of the emergency orders. According to WTVB, Capri owner Todd Maggox said that they'll be operating 7 nights a week after this weekend, with their established social distancing rules still in place. Several complaints were filed with law enforcement over the drive-ins theater reopening on May 15th, and the investigation began at the local level while at least one state trooper was seen watching the event. Now, Branch County Prosecutor Vale White has decided not to prosecute the case locally, leaving that up to Attorney General Dana Nessel. No word yet from the AG's office on whether or not she intends to take action. Well, those of you who are cold water BPU customers and have been holding off on paying your bill, the time to start arranging payments is now. The WTVB reports that the CBPU Board of Directors voted last night to continue disconnections and late fees on June 15th. The utility says anyone who is delinquent on their utility bill should be contacting customer service to make arrangements for payments. Now, you should also reach out to various agencies and nonprofits in the area that will provide assistance toward your bills, especially federal funding from health agencies. According to Director Jeff Budd, there is a significant funding availability for those programs. Well, the majority of Hillsdale City Council said no deal to the reopening of plan submitted by the new staff Monday night. Now, the Daily News says 6 council members, including Mayor Adam Stockford, rejected the 18-page plan because it didn't actually change anything. Stockford said that the plan was supposed to be a maximum of 2 pages and provide for ways to reopen the city government to the public. Instead, he said, the plan was the same as was what the Hillsdale County Board of Commissioners passed to continue restrictions, which are already in place at City Hall. Council members Tony Veer, Greg Stuchel, and Bruce Sharp voted in favor of the plan. Cities across Michigan are now required to develop plans to reopen as part of Phase 4 in the My Safe Start process. The public swimming pool in Delta will remain closed for the season due to the pandemic. The Swanton Enterprise says that the decision was announced by the village officials on Tuesday, citing the interests of safety and public health. Capacity reduction, social distancing, and sanitizing challenges all led to the closure. On the flip side of that, the village also announced that the public sports diamond and fields will now be open for non-contact sports, but playgrounds, restrooms, and shelter complexes will remain closed for now. Well, those fields must be used with safety guidelines in place. The Angola Parks and Recreation Department has canceled the 2020 summer recreation program. The Herald Republican says the decision was made at the Parks Board's meeting yesterday, putting an end to any hopes that the season might still take place. June sessions had already been canceled prior to the Wednesday's meeting. Even if the program had planned to continue, Park Superintendent Matt Hanna said staffing would have been a problem. And events and marketing coordinator Nana Blumengame said that the COVID-19 task force was probably going to cancel July and August recreation anyways. The board agreed to bring the program back stronger and bigger than ever next year. Well, due to limitations on indoor dining capacity under Michigan's Phase 4, the Tecumseh City Council has suspended some restrictions on outdoor dining to help make up the difference. The Daily Telegraph says the Tecumseh City Council voted unanimously on Monday to allow restaurants to set up temporary seating in certain areas of parking lots or back sidewalks if it's practical for their location. Some of those areas would likely have handicap parking spaces, and the city is working to determine where those spaces should be relocated to. The city is also waiving the $50 fee for outdoor dining applications. Now, that resolution will suspend the ordinances until December 31st. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is rescinding more executive orders as the state recovers from the coronavirus pandemic. WKZO reports that 2 of the orders regard temporary suspension of certain restrictions and requirements for emergency medical services, as well as operational capacity and efficiency of healthcare facilities. Those 2 orders were restricted as of yesterday. The executive order extended certain FIO request deadlines will be rescinded on June 11th. On top of that, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is now allowing expanded visitation in hospitals, outpatient clinics, and doctors' offices. Those facilities still require to implement screening procedures, visiting hours, locations and restrictions, face mask requirements, and remote visit alternatives such as video or audio calls. MDHHS Director Robert Gordon issued that order yesterday and is now in effect. Meanwhile, some businesses in the personal care industry are not happy with Governor Whitmer. While barbershops, salons, and spas remain closed in the Great Lakes State, WHTC says the governor explained on Monday that they may be able to reopen in a couple more weeks. In the meantime, she suggested learning how to cut your own hair online or styling it in a longer fashion, like a ponytail or a curl. A group calling itself Safe Salons for Michigan apparently was not happy with that suggestion. One member, Kevin Lent, wrote in a statement that Whitmer's comment only makes the matters worse, saying she's disrespecting Michigan's highly trained, licensed cosmetologists. Lent says that his sector is made up of educated professionals who have spent years honing their abilities, and they're asking the governor for an apology. Safe Salons for Michigan last week sent an 8-point plan to Whitmer last week, hoping that they would be able to join Indiana and Ohio in reopening. Well, coming up, more reaction to the police killing of George Floyd. Plus, Congress wants to know how Michigan failed to keep up on the Edenville Dam. And a former president of the United States Auto Workers has pleaded guilty in an embezzlement conspiracy. HTV1 News at noon. We'll be right back.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family-owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
Authentic Mexican food is just a short drive away at El Cerrito in Coldwater and Hillsdale. The variety-packed menu has something for everyone, with classic Mexican dishes, El Cerrito specialties, and tasty treats for dessert. Don't forget the best margaritas in town with margarita specials Friday and Saturday. And carry-out ordering is great for work lunches or picking up dinner for the family. Make your next meal a fiesta for your taste buds at El Cerrito on Chicago Street in downtown Coldwater and Carlton Road in Hillsdale.
Well, local protests against police brutality, racism, and the death of George Floyd while in police custody have taken place in Angola, Adrian, and Hillsdale, and Coldwater will be added to that list tomorrow. WTBB and the Daily Reporter say the demonstration has been planned for the Four Corners Park by the Branch District Library between noon and 5 p.m. on Friday. Now, several local youths have organized a protest, saying on a Facebook event page, quote, "It's time for unity." Social distancing and face masks are being encouraged, and protests will involve speaking with signs, speaking to the public, kneeling, and lying down. There won't be a march, however, and the organizers say this is strictly a peaceful event. Now, official paperwork has been filed with the city, and the city manager, Keith Baker, says the city supports the peaceful exercise of the First Amendment rights. Coldwater Police and the Branch County Sheriff's Office have coordinated plans for maintaining peace and order during that protest. On top of that, Michigan Governor Whitmer is backing a plan for police reform. In a press release issued yesterday, Whitmer called on law enforcement agencies across the state to enhance their training and policies to create a police culture in which all people are treated with dignity and respect under the law. She also stated that her support for measures that require law enforcement to undergo training to implement bias and implicit bias and de-escalation techniques. Now, Whitmer specifically applauded State Senator Jeff Irwin's Senate Bill 945, which addresses many of those issues. Now, she added that police agencies should require their officers to intervene when they observe excessive use of force by another officer. As for actions Whitmer is taking herself, she's requested the Michigan Commission of Law Enforcement Standards to provide guidance on continuing education for law enforcement, including diversity and implicit bias training. She also is encouraging police to take part in efforts to conduct comprehensive reporting of use of force. The Michigan State Police have already created an equality and exclusion officer position and set a goal to increase the trooper application pool's racial minority to 25% and the 25% of application pool the female application pool to 20%. They've also established community service trooper positions, posted all non-confidential department policies online, created an online FIOA portal, implemented recurring bias training, and revised their policies on when a trooper can engage in a vehicle pursuit. In the press release, Whitmer said, quote, "The death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were a result of hundreds of years of inequality and institutional racism against Black Americans." Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist added that Michigan people across Michigan have been calling for change to police practices, and these actions are clear steps in the direction of the needed reform. However, Gilchrist said that the state has not done with reforms, and the administration is strongly encouraging local law enforcement to adopt measures that build trust, accountability, and a comprehensive, non-discriminatory experience of safety for everyone in Michigan. Whitmer's counterpart in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine, said Tuesday that he's increasing efforts to improve the state of affairs when it comes to racial, health, and economic disparity. According to the Bryan Times, DeWine says that he wants to have a dialogue to solve those problems and seek strategies for reform. DeWine said, quote, "Whether it is the urban core of the hills of Appalachia, we have Ohioans who are not giving up to their God-given potential because they simply do not have the same opportunities. That's what's wrong, and we have a moral obligation to change that." The governor said efforts will continue adding more oversight in Ohio's law enforcement agencies to ensure accountability, enhancing transparency between the police and the public, and recruiting more minorities to serve as peace officers. He added that the divisions of race have plagued our country since its inception, and while there are no simple solutions, we must be a positive voice in advancing change for all who are marginalized in order to create equality in health, education, and economic opportunity. The failure of Michigan's Edenvale and Sanford dams has Congress asking questions. The Associated Press reports that the House Energy and Commerce Committee is investigating the disaster that led to the roughly 11,000 people in the Tri-Cities area being evacuated as flooding caused massive damage and sank downtown Midland under as much as 9 feet of water. In particular, the committee wants to know why the states determined that the Edenvale Dam was in fair condition after the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission had already deemed that dam to be incapable of handling extreme rainfalls. The owner of those dams, Boyce Hydropower, was cited for failure to maintain the dam to suitable standards several times over 14 years, and the previous owner had also been cited. The committee also wants to know the size and finances of Michigan's dam safety program. Responses from the state and federal agency regulatory commission are expected by June 15th. Former UAW President Gary Jones has pleaded guilty to conspiring with others to embezzle union dues. The Associated Press says Jones appeared to be on video in federal court in Detroit yesterday and acknowledged that the falsified expenses from 2012 to 2017, back when he was a regional union director in St. Louis. He was promoted to union president in 2018, but he quit after a year and 5 months as the feds intensified their investigation. Jones pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy and the use of more than $1 million of funds that he used for golf trips, expensive meals, and stays at villas in California. Since 2017, 10 other union officials and a laid-off official's spouses have pleaded guilty to charges stemming from the investigation, though not all of the crimes were connected. Jones could spend up to 57 months in prison, but the government is signaling that they could ask for a lighter punishment at his October 6th sentencing hearing if he provides what they're calling substantial assistance. Now, that is a sign that the investigation is far from over. The scandal has rocked the United Auto Workers Union to its core, with the leadership at first staunchly defending Jones and criticizing the government when they searched his home last August. But the support for him has faded as it became clear that the investigation was uncovering rampant corruption. Now, current President Rory Gamble says that the actions of those who used their high-ranking positions to violate the trust of the union members were selfish, immoral, and against everything that the UAW stands for. U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider says that he wants to reform the union and hopes to meet with Gamble as soon as possible. Snyder also told the Detroit News that the Justice Department is considering a lawsuit that could lead to the government's taking control of union operations. Some union members have called for the direct election of union leaders as a result of the corruption. A suspect in custody after a stabbing earlier this week in Adrian, and a city planner is in Coldwater. And city planners in Coldwater are ready to turn their plans for pot shops over to the city council. Those stories and more right after this.
The Saucy Dogs is the name, and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Does your vehicle sound like a tractor putting down the road? Then you need to see the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. They will give you a free estimate along with first-class customer service. They custom make any exhaust needed for your vehicle. Stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
Hello everybody, Brett Boyd from the Market House. Don't miss our new expanded summer hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And don't miss two fantastic deals on ground chuck at just $3.99 a pound or Dutch Farms butter at just $2.99. Just two great deals and two more reasons to come see us at the Market House. Open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We'll see you there.
Adrian police have taken a teenage male into custody after a confrontation led to a knife attack. WLEN and the Daily Telegram says it happened Monday around 2:30 p.m. on the 600 block of South Madison Street. Two male subjects were involved when a 17-year-old stabbed the victim. Now, the suspect is a local resident whose name is being withheld pending arraignment, and he and the victim knew each other. The victim is a juvenile, and he was taken to the Lido Area Hospital with a stab wound to his abdomen. He was awake and alert at the scene and was able to be interviewed, though his condition was unknown at the time, and his name will not be released. If you were a witness to the incident, you have not been interviewed by police, you are asked to call Detective Sergeant Lamar Ruffner at 517-264-4808. Adrian Police Chief Vince Emmerich has given an update at the shooting incidents that occurred over the Memorial Day weekend. The Telegram suspects have been identified in the shooting that happened on the 500 block of French Street and the assault on 1300 block of Low Avenue. Charges are expected to be filed soon in both of those incidents. A Steuben County man has been sentenced for child pornography and being a repeat sex offender. The Herald Republican says 67-year-old Stephen Buzzard of Pleasant Lake was convicted and sentenced Friday morning in Steuben Superior Court. Now, Buzzard was reported to the Indiana State Police through a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children back in 2018. An image that he had downloaded through the Frontier Communications internet connection partially showed a nude 5-year to 7-year-old child. A search warrant was issued for his home in August of 2019 when police seized 4 laptops, 6 hard drives, and while he attempted to delete as much as he could from those computers, authorities still found around 65,000 pictures and over 100 videos containing child porn. Now, he was arrested in October on a warrant in Cromwell, but later posted bail. Buzzard said before sentencing that all of the material was freely and openly accessible online and that he didn't participate in any of the production or distribution of it. Judge William Fee, however, admonished him for attempting to downplay his crimes, noting that none of the children consented to being depicted and that every one of them is someone's daughter, adding, quote, "There are children, for Lord's sake." Buzzard was sentenced to 4 years for a level 5 possession of child pornography and 3 years for being a repeat sex offender. However, 2 years were already suspended, so he will spend a total of 5 years in prison and 2 years on probation. 4 other counts of child porn possession possession were dropped in a plea deal. He will also be listed permanently on Indiana Sex Offender Registry, leading fee to tell him, quote, "You will be on parole for the rest of your life." Buzzard was previously convicted of child molestation in 1988 when he was a teacher in the Prairie Heights District and was accused of fondling 2 11-year-old girls in his 5th grade classroom, prompting his resignation. He was also convicted of sexual misconduct with a minor and inappropriate behavior with a co-worker in 2006. The Planning Commission has given its approval, and now the ordinances allowing recreational marijuana businesses in the Coldwater are on their way to the City Council. WTBB says the Commission held a nearly 2-hour meeting Monday night to discuss that topic. Now, they've added 3 amendments as suggested by the Council and other interested parties. The first supports the allowance of pot shops in downtown Coldwater, which is recommended by the Downtown Development Authority. Marijuana stores in the central business districts would have to be at least 500 feet away from residents and schools. And if there are multiple shops downtown, they'd have to be 1,000 feet apart away from each other. Another amendment would only allow retail shops to co-locate with growing the processing business and if they're in a heavy industrial district. Another amendment would allow micro-businesses such within the C4 General Business District with the same buffer spaces as downtown. Medical marijuana establishments are not permitted under those ordinances until late 2021, but the Planning Commission wants city staff to look into that further. The City Council will take up the issue at their next meeting this upcoming Monday, and they're expected to vote on it on June 22nd. If they approve the measures, those ordinances would go into effect 21 days later. Well, there has been a fireworks show celebrating Independence Day for 100 consecutive years in Hillsdale County, and the All-American Celebration Committee is hoping to keep that tradition alive this year. Led by Brett Boyd of the Market House, the committee has started the GoFundMe campaign to raise funds for the fireworks-only display, and this one will be a bit different from the usual show. Boyd says that the event usually consists of low-flying fireworks, but this year they want to include larger and higher-flying fireworks so that people can watch from miles around and can watch from their home. Now, it is an expensive proposition, and the committee is aware that the coronavirus pandemic has been economically challenging for the businesses and organizations that usually donate to the annual event. So this year, the fundraiser is online and open to the public, and both the Market House and County National Bank have agreed to match all donations up to $1,000 each. $5,000 each. I'm sorry, $5,000 each. I don't know why I got 1,000. Well, the GoFundMe campaign has set a goal of $15,000, and at last check, $720 have been raised over 24 hours. If you want to donate, we've got a link for you right here on our Facebook page. The original candy wafer is back. We'll tell you all about it after this.
El Cerrito's variety-packed menu has something for everyone. With generous servings and lots of flavor, you'll think of it as a fiesta for your taste buds. Dine in or carry out at El Cerrito on Chicago Street in downtown Coldwater and Carlton Road in Hillsdale.
There's a reason that professionals shop at Jonesville Lumber. They expect quality, service, and knowledge. And that's exactly what they receive. For nearly 100 years, Jonesville Lumber has been family-owned. We take pride in serving our area with great products at competitive prices. We have dedicated project estimators in-house that will help figure the materials needed to complete your next task at hand. Whether you're building your dream home, adding a pole barn, building a deck, updating your kitchen, or painting your front door, let Jonesville Lumber help you with your next project.
The Saucy Dogs is the name and barbecue is the game. Come on down for a good time and some great food. At Saucy Dogs, try our barbecue nachos or our tasty ribs. We'll have you howling for more. Saucy Dogs, downtown Jonesville.
Well, finally today, good news for those of you who like Nico wafers. Well, guess what? They're back. According to the Bryan Times, Spangler Candy Company announced that the return of the flavored discs last week. The iconic candy in the wax paper roll is one of the oldest candy brands in existence, dating all the way back to 1847. Spangler CEO Kirk Vashaw says that the company is delighted to be bringing Necco wafers back at a time when comfort food is experiencing a resurgence. The Bryan-based candy company also recently brought back another Necco creation, the Valentine's Day Classic Sweethearts, but those were in limited supply this year as the production line wasn't up to capacity in the time for the full run. This time around, Vashaw says that they know fans have been anxiously waiting for the return of the Necco wafers, and they're anticipating high demand, so their production lines will run as fast as possible to keep stores in stock. Well, those are today's candy-covered stories. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for HTV1 News at noon. Don't forget you can find more news in our live streams 24/7 at htv1.net. For all of us here at HTV1, I'm Scott Pienta. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great day, everyone. Tired of having everyone know you're coming before you arrive because of your exhaust? If so, then it's time to call the experts at RS Custom Exhaust in Hillsdale. RS Custom Exhaust has all the tools and parts to make your vehicle quiet again. And for you sports car enthusiasts, if you're looking for the roar to be the king of the roads, RS Custom Exhaust can help you too. With free estimates and first-class service, RS Custom Exhaust has your vehicle covered. So stop and see them today, located at 1461 Vera Drive in Hillsdale.
Hello everybody, Brett Boyd from the Market House. Don't miss our new expanded summer hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And don't miss two fantastic deals on ground chuck at just $3.99 a pound or Dutch Farms butter at just $2.99. Just two great deals and two more reasons to come see us at the Market House. Open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. We'll see you there.